When you finish your study, when you work in any good restaurants, they will ask you this. Not ask you this, but usually they ask you like, what is 2 to 4 hour rules? What is, and for flexes, if you have heard about this one, this is always happen with gluten, dairy, nuts. There is a disease, like not disease, that is kind of allergens. Once you get anaphylaxis, so it means you can infant, you can get diarrhea, you can get body rashes, even you can get your paralysis. These are the allergens. So we will talk about this one. First allergen, as you say, nut, milk, gluten, dairy. There are so many. Soya. And what else? Sesame.
Is that soya means same soy, yeah?
Yeah.
Look.
It's soya or soy. It's the same.
It's same.
Then.
See that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you got it?
Soya sauce is also made from soya.
Now you
Right?
got it?
So, and there is, you can say mushroom, mushrooms, and there is a corianders, then you can say fructose. So fructose are those, the fruits juice, right? So which people are diabetic, they do not consume the juice of those. So especially they are diabetic. So that also comes in that. And legumes. Legumes are lentils, peas, green peas, corns, they all are legumes. Grains, especially grains is similar. So there are different grains, rye, barley, millet, oats, lupin flour, they all are the different grains, usually which has gluten, right? If somebody asks what is gluten, what you will say? Any idea? So gluten is always in the flour. So flour is not only one flour there are so many flours such as rye, barley, millet, oats, lupin, they are the different flours. So different flour means they are the different grains. So different grains has a different proteins and carbohydrates. So each grain has carbohydrate and protein content which we say is a gluten. Means if somebody say what is gluten, so you can say in any grains which contains protein carbohydrate component, we call it gluten, right? People have allergic from gluten, right? From this, we will not go on that one, we will go later, but we will just finish this. So gluten is a people have allergic to it, right? The people cannot tolerate it, people cannot digest it, it affects their immune system or digestive system, so that's why we call it gluten. From gluten there is a one disease happens, we call it one disease. What is that disease?
One disease.
Starts from C. Celiac. Very good. From gluten there is a one disease happen, that we call it celiac disease, right? So now concept is very clear. If in your restaurants where you work, if any customer comes and he or she will say, I am celiac disease, what are you supposed to not to give them? Gluten. Very good. So gluten contains in different grains like protein and carbohydrates which they cannot digest in the system. Clear? Very good. Okay. So this one is cleared. What are the substitutes of glutens? Like what if they are gluten free? Let's say I'm working in Indian restaurants. Let's say you are working in Western restaurants. Let's say you are working in Italian restaurants. Italian got pastas. So pasta is made from the wheat or the plain flour. So they also have a gluten. And you work in a Western restaurant. So Western restaurant they serve as a bread rolls. So bread roll also made from the wheat flour or the plain flour, right? If you work in Indian restaurants, we have the naan breads like butter naan, garlic naan, lachha paranthas and all, so on and on. They are also made of wheat and plain flour. So we cannot give them gluten because this all flour contains gluten. Which we can give it to them? We can give them buckwheat. Very good. What else? Rice flour. What else? Rice we can give them. We can them potato flour. We can give them chickpea flour. We can give like most of the lentil flours, they are gluten free. Most of the lentils, like in especially in Asian community if we belong to, so Asian community have lot of lentils, different types of yellow, split, black, grey, red kidney beans, so many beans are there. We also, those flours can be used as a gluten free, right? So options are rice flour, rice, potato and corn, chickpea, what else? Buckwheat. Now the best thing is, in the past there was lack of opportunities, the lack of these things, like people were not much aware. But today's time, if you go to Woolies, if you go to Coles, if you go to LD, you will find the gluten free flour. Very simple. So if you chase them, that's absolutely correct. If you have day-to-day life in your restaurants, you can use them. If you don't have, simply go to the market. Like if somebody asking for the bread, nowadays a gluten-free breads are available, gluten-free cakes are available, gluten-free naan breads are available. There are so many options we have to avail nowadays, right? So these are the most allergens. If somebody asks you what are the intolerance, so there is a difference between both allergens and intolerance. These can cause you your body, it cause in your body, like if anything you are allergic to it, you will get reaction from your body, you get rashes on your body, you get vomiting, you got diarrhea, you got nasua, you got paralysis, even you may die with these allergens. Intolerance means if you are gluten free, right, you have allergic to the gluten, so it means your body will not digest that food and your body will not be comfortable after you eat it, and it will not into break down its protein, right? So that's why they are intolerance. We will not have the promptly reaction to our body, we will have problem, we will feel uncomfortable to digest it. Make sense? This will, you will have the serious consequences like anaphylaxis, you will may get vomiting, diarrhea, fever, nasua, even paralysis, you may die with these allergens. But intolerance are like your body will feel discomfort. You will not get these rashes, but you will discomfort, which means your body will not digest that, your immune system will not properly break down the food which you have taken inside your body. Clear the concept? Any question? Very good. We were talking about 2 to 4 hour rules. To 2 to 4 hour rules, first 2 hours of any food which is consumable, which you can consume, which you can eat. Any first 2 hours, we can serve, sell, store. More than 2 hours of that food we can serve and sell, but we cannot store. Over 4 hours, discard in a bin. Clear? The third one we were going to talk about danger zone. What is danger zone? Have you heard about this one before? We have discussed, man. Yes. What is danger zone? Okay, temperature between 5 to 60 degree. That is, we call it a danger zone. Very good. So this is a danger zone. What happens in this temperature? Bacteria growth. Very good. Bacteria growth. At what level? Bacteria growth at high level. Let's say if cold food temperature is, what is cold food temperature? 0 to 5 degree. Very good. What is freezer temperature?
-17.
-18 degree. Very good. So if your freezer temperature is like normally your cool room fridges, walk-ins we call it, like 2-door bar and juice fridge, those fridge temperatures are 0 to 5 degree. But if food is kept between 0 to 5 degree, it means the bacterial growth. So mostly cooked food always remain the bacteria. Cooked food always, it has the bacteria inside. But if you keep it between 0 to 5 degree temperature, it will minimize the growth of bacteria. They will grow, but they will grow not rapidly. They will grow very, very slow. So it minimizes the time to grow the bacteria in this temperature. right? Okay, let's say if we put in this temperature food, minus 18 degree, will it kill the bacteria? No, right? It will not kill the bacteria. It will just minimize it, but it will not kill the bacteria. So many people have conception this, by putting it minus 18 degree, it will kill the bacteria. So don't worry, if you put in a freezer, so it will not kill. There are only two ways to kill the bacteria. The first one is cooking food on a certain temperature, like 75 degree or above. If you cook on this temperature, means your bacteria of which they are in the food, they will die or that can be killed. Another way is, what is another way? Any idea? Anything? Guess, wildly guess. So one is this one, we can use it, we can cook the food on certain temperature. You cannot say this temperature because this not kill the bacteria, it only minimize it. What's the another way? What we use most of the time during COVID? Sanitizer. There you go. What we use? Sanitizer. That kills the bacteria, like it prevents the bacteria, I would say, like mostly stops the bacteria. So these are the two ways to kill the bacteria. Clear? There you go. Let's go back to the danger zone. So in that temperature, if you freeze it, if you put in a 0 to 5 degree, it does not kill the bacteria, it only minimizes the growth of bacteria. But if you cook on this temperature, then it kills the bacteria. If your food in this temperature, like not in the fridge, not on the hot food, then what will happen? Bacteria will grow rapidly, like millions of quantity. But what bacteria develops in this food? We also should know what bacteria it develops. Have you heard about any bacteria before? What? Yes. What did you say? Speak loudly. Salmonella. Salmonella. Salmonella, and another one is E. coli, and there is one more. Mainly there are three types of bacteria, especially when the food is in danger zone. In the chicken, okay, this bacteria only develops in a dairy, this develops in a okay. So there are mainly three types of things happen. Like the first, there are so many different names, like have you heard about Campylobacter? We have already discussed this one on that unit. Another one is Bacillus accusus, that's another one. So they are the hard pronunciation, they are also the bacteria which develops in danger zone. So especially then the salmonella is, it develops in the chicken when especially chicken is on danger zone between 5 to 60 degree. E. coli develops in a dairy when dairy is between 5 to 60 degree, that temperature. This is norovirus. Norovirus is develops when any food flour drop on the floor. Then bacteria develops, that is norovirus. Any question so far?
We have to cool down the food before put on the food, yeah?
Yes.
And what's the time for that?
We will discuss that one next question. Any question? You want to write it down? You can write it down. I'll post this video. You can also watch that, but still these are the basic information. Why we are discussing this? Because this is the general information. When you walk into any kitchen, any Australian standard kitchen, you will be meeting these normal policies and procedures. So you should know how to tackle them, right? In this there is another question leads it. That one is, how do you cool down the food? When you describe 2 to 4 hour rules, there is another question linked with it. How do you cool down the food? Let's say you cook any curry, any food. not about curry. Like being an Indian, I always say curry, curry, curry. Like I should not say that. I should present the multi-cuisine examples. Okay, let's say we make pasta. We boil the pasta. So that pasta, how long we can keep in the fridge? Cooked pasta, how long we can keep it?
3 days.
3 days. Like cooked food, we can store it 3 days. Very nice. But let's say I cooked pasta, but how I will cool it down? There is a question, right? Basically, 2 to 4 hour rules apply there. We cannot keep food more than 4 hours to cool it down outside. So there is a one definition is, for this specially, any cooked food, like let's say, I'll give you example first. Like let's say I cooked pasta, I have to cool it down bit before 2 hours. If I want to keep it in a fridge. If I cook straight away, serve straight away, sell it, done. There is no problem. There is no 2 to 4 hour rules. But if that pasta I will keep it for 3 days, then I have to follow this rule. So this rule stands here. I have to cool it within a first 2 hours to store it. If food is kept more than 2 hours here, then what I have to do? I have to sell and serve. But if it's more than outside, then discard. So same thing applies. Let's say I boiled pasta, so I will cool it down. So there is a temperature for this. Cooked food temperature is, let's say, up 60 above. Like let's say I cooked pasta, so it can be 70, 80, 90, right? But I just take above 60 food, above 60 degree, the food is hot. We call it hot food, above 60 degree. If it's below 60, it means it's in danger zone. Very good. In first 2 hours, from 60 degree to, we should bring down to 21 degree. Why? I boil pasta within a first 2 hours. For this, I'll make sure that my pasta should get cool it down and it should reach into 21 degree. Once it's reached 21 degree, I will put labels on the pasta and I'll keep it in a further 2 hours. Keep in cool room or freezer.
Freezer?
Yes. Why I'm saying this? Okay, let's focus on this. I boil pasta. Boiling pasta temperature is 60 degree. In first 2 hours after boiling, I started at 11 a.m. and I'll finish 12. So from 12 to 2, before 12 to 2, between that temperature, I'll make sure my pasta should come from 60 to 21 degree. So what I'll do, I'll put in a flat trays. I put in an ice bath on top of the ice bath, or I can put in a small portion, and where is a cool, nice place at where the preparation area. If I have the air con, any fan, I turn it on and let it cool. These are the 3 ways. But most of the big companies like Crown, Novotel, and the Marriott's, Hyatt, these are the hotels. They have the blast chiller. It's like a swim fridge. You cook your food straight away, put in a flat tray, and straight away put in a blast chiller. Within a 90 minutes, it cools down. So you don't have to worry about this temperature if you have that machine. Let's say if you don't have that equipment, then you have to put in a small portions, divide in a small trays, or you have to cool it down to put some cold water on top. That you can do to keep it your pasta, cool it down. So first, when it reaches from 60 to 21 degree in first 2 hours, we will put label, put in a cool room or fridge. Next further hours, like further 2 hours for this, like this is. If you leave your pasta outside, then you cannot store it, right? If you leave it further 2 hours. So what we do is, once is 21 degree, so 21 degree does not have steam on it. Steam basically 50 above, 60 above the food has steaming. But when it reach on 21 degree, it does not have steam. So it is okay, we can put it in a cool room or freezer, because freezer is a -18. Our food temperature will get very quickly down between 0 to 5 degree. But if we put in a cool room, still within like 1 hour it will come down to 0 to 5 degree. But you cannot say that I'll keep this more 2 hours outside, then I'll keep it down temperature, and then after that more than 4 hours I'll keep in a cool room. So basically on this stage it will reach, so it has to be discard. So that is a cooling down process for which food? Cooked food, which we specially preserve. If I talk about Indian food, if I talk about Asian food, mostly Malaysian, Indonesian, so and Thai food, we always have some base gravies or sauce, right? So those we make it before the service, and we cannot make them because they are time consuming, so we cannot make them on the spot. We always make it beforehand, so that we can use for 3 days. Once the 3 days finish, then we can again rebatch, new make it, then we use it. So that the house circles keep going on. Clear this concept? Any questions so far? 2 to 4 hours and cooling down process. Any question? All good? Very good. So there is another one, that what is fryer temperature?
200.
What is fryer temperature?
Which one fryer?
Fryer, commercial fryer.
Oil fryer, air fryer.
No, I'm only deep fryer. 120?
180, 200, yeah?
It's from 120 to 220.
Are you sure? Yes?
200 is the maximum?
No. 60 to 100.
No. Yes. We have discussed. Haven't we discussed this one?
No.
Okay, very good. We use kitchen, right? How many times we have done? We have fried fish, we used it. We have fish popcorns, we make it. We made a bread pakoras, we made it. We crumb chicken, we have fried it. What temperature? And there is also temperature on the fryer.
200.
180.
I wasn't expecting this.
Because
Okay.
we are using the same one in the world.
Fryer,
We are using that 200.
fryer temperature. Okay, if it's 140 to 190, you can keep your fryer temperature for 140 to 190. But the perfect temperature of fryer is, like, let's say you want to cook schnitzels, you want to cook fish popcorns, you want to cook. So for that it is a 175 degree, which I personally feel it. Some people say 165, some people say 170. That's still okay. No problem. As long as it's a 175 degree temperature of the fryer, it will cook your food perfectly, like brown golden color. Let's say 140 and 190. Why did I say? You all love Macca's, right? You go to Macca's. Macca's, most of the items they fry, which is nuggets, frozen nuggets, patty, and fries. So frozen fries. Have you seen, like, mostly people fry fresh fries, straight away cut potatoes and put in a fryer? Why they keep it frozen? Because most they are frozen and they are hard and they crisp they become.
Oh.
For them there is a special potatoes in USA which is called pomme potatoes. Like, that's the quality of the potatoes, they get crisp, nice. If your restaurant is really busy and you are continuously frying frozen items in the fryer, so then you have to temperature keep it 190. If your restaurant is not busy, you just usually frying like samosa, spring roll, which is fresh, so you can keep your temperature is between 175 degree. But your restaurant is not that busy, quite, then you can keep your temperature is 140. If you quiet time, you put your fryer at 190, what will happen? The oil will burn. You don't want that, because if it's not busy, then you keep it temperature 190, so fryer will keep heating the oil will get smoking again and again, and it will burn, and you will not use for a longer period. Many of the question is how long we can use a fryer oil? 1 day, 2 days. It depends how busy we are, how much quality get affected the oil. If it's dark, just change it regular every day if it's dark. Most of the big companies in the Macca's or the another companies, they have filters, fryer oil filters. So they usually every night, even they have the private contractors or they can do by staff. So they change it oil every day. So they can refilter it and they can refill it again. So make sure if anything is like normally your restaurant is so busy, not busy, but you can keep it 170. If it's frozen item or regularly keep freezing or you using it in a fryer, then 190, and the normally is quiet time 140 degree temperature. Any question? What is the reheating food temperature? Reheating food temperature.
80. 80.
30,
80.
80, 20, 75. Yes, Christine? 75, 75,
I,
70,
I love the hot food.
75. Yes. Okay. What is reheating food?
Is that one?
Okay, cooked food. Yes, which is cooked food. Let's say this food, if you have keep it in a refrigerator and we're gonna again reheat any food is which is already cooked and we want to reheat, we call it reheating temperature. So what is temperature is 75 degree or above. It can go more than that. Why we do this? To kill the bacteria. And if we will not do on this temperature, then there will bacteria will remain inside. The highest temperature can reach up to 85 degree, 87 degree. If really someone asks you the how long it can go, from 75 to 85 it can go beyond. Right? Especially for this, like there are so many other allergens. Like in Victoria, there are 12 allergens. If you go one by one, there is a fish, shellfish, and many more we can add on. So there is a, in Victoria, especially every state they have different legislation, but in Victoria they have 12 main allergens, which especially you have to be very careful when you work in a restaurant as a chef. This one is a more serious as compared to the intolerance. If somebody have it who's highly allergic, they can die. So any especially in your restaurant, if you are handling the chef positions, so you should know about these in a separate way, so you can explain and you can handle the customers. So there are no next week. I hope that we will go second chapter for this. Like there's a bit more potentially hazard food, and we will talk about perishable items, and we will talk about farinaceous dishes. So we will talk about the next week, and if you have any question, you can ask.
Thank you.
All good? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll discuss in the next week.